Hey YouTube, coming at you with an Ultra League team, and yes, it's an Ultra League team because it is from a member, and it is from Joe, so I appreciate you being a member and the support. So I created memberships, and one of the things about the memberships was if you submit something, I don't care what league it is, I'm going to showcase it to give you the analysis of it. So it is an Ultra League team, KOMMO-O, BELLIBOLT, cradily, and the write-up says, still making some mistakes, especially in the match against Rhyperior, missed using the grass knot, so don't mind me on that one. Team still holding strong in that range, but climbing slowly. Taboos on the lead are some of the toughest. And then there's another little thing here, which I think I'll keep as a Dan talk at the ending of this. It says, on the PvP Corner podcast, they were talking about age and reaction times. What are your thoughts about this? And in the email, it says, you were talking about older trainers in PvP. I'm not sure if you check and verified, but perhaps we can have a senior league. Other sports have that. My son plays PvP and is 12 now and started at 11, maybe a younger version. Joe's going to be 51, played for 4 seasons and made it to expert last season. Really prefer Master League and Master League Premier. Don't have pundos or anything. Yeah, so I'll talk about reaction time and being old at the ending. Okay, let's take a look at the battles. The teams, you're weak to very weak to Fairy on the front. So Fairy may be a bit of an issue because you have Sucker Punch on BELLIBOLT, but you definitely have an Acid user in the back. Even though it's not poison, it does have Acid. So let's take a look. KOMMO with these clanging scales. I think that's a community move, so I should start that. Good lead against a fire. Out comes Goodra. So we're both doing super effective against each other here. Having the brick break allows us to lower the defense and pick up a little more damage on these. Could be worth a shield and take and switch here. I think you're okay either way, right? You have BELLIBOLT with Sucker Punch, and then you have cradily with your Rock Tomb. So you have play either way. Coming back, they do come back in here. So just going to lower their defense with the brick break. I think you come BELLIBOLT and just super effective Sucker Punch it because you've lowered its defense, right? So those are really going to start adding up, and you have a lot of bulk here and can just take damage. So there's also the option that you can shield and Parabolic Charge the first one so that you can raise your defense. I would go 2 Sucker Punches though, right? So 4 versus 5 instead of 2 versus 5 in the fast move, because you just basically let them get an extra 3 energy when you can only let them get 1 if you really time that well. And what's in the back? A muck, but it is a regular muck, a Kanto muck, which means it's just poison. So these Sucker Punches are doing neutral as opposed to like a muck, which would be resisted Sucker Punches. So it did chip to the yellow. Going to be taken out here. That's fine. They're down a shield. And they get out here. I was trying to remember how much energy they have to tell you whether they overfarm or not. Okay, go lurk. In these neutral leads, we just play them out. One of the problems is that your brick break is resisted on the ghost. So I think you just go to clanging scales. There's only 15 to this move. Yeah, I guess you're already at the move. And Skeldurge comes in and catches the move. Maybe they shield anyways, but I'd be surprised if they come in to shield, which they don't. You've already burnt 1 shield. Going to let this go. Shadow Punch does land again. You got you're in the 2100s. Immediately, you need to work on your fast move timing. That's the second Sucker Punch there, where you only got the 1 instead of the 2. And Golurk comes in. Golurk is also weak to dark. I know they are slapping you down, but they are also weak to dark. I think you have to come KOMMO-O because Dynamic Punch is super effective on cradily, and poison would be resisted. Hope they threw blind. They did. They threw Shadow Punch, but still the acid is resisted. Blastoise comes in. We're gonna bait. Nope, going straight for the grass knot, hoping that they assume everyone baits here, that they're not going to shield. And they do not shield, so that lands, which is nice. I assume it's just a Hydro, which is neutral because you're half rock. So yeah, it does chip here. They're going to try and catch. you do have a dragon that resists. In terms of typings here, you have a rock grass, which takes neutral to hydro, right? Because rock takes super effective, grass resists, so it's net neutral. But you got a dragon out here in the front here, and dragon resists water. So you could have come in here and just resisted these hydros from the start. Doing that now, getting a bunch of energy, going for the brick break, just knowing that they are super low, and even if it's resisted, does not matter too much, because then you can take it down with a Dragon Tail. For Alligator, good lead. I mean, they'll have Ice Beam, so they could stay in and just fake it, or even go for it. So they'll get to it here before you get to a move. So they are at it. Yeah, I'm going to respect it. They get to it in 14 here. And they do go straight Ice Beam, which is actually quite helpful. Again, because they got it at 14 versus 15, they just got an extra claw through there. They did shield, which is nice. They're definitely going to get to the move here, though. So if you, I'd respect it because they're showing that they're probably not going to bait. Yeah. But instead, just going to let that go. They're going to get to a Hydro here. You can take a Hydro. It's tough to lose Switch in this one. Yeah. I'm actually surprised you're staying in because they actually gave up Switch here. I'm surprised you're staying in because your Sucker Punch is resisted and your Electric is resisted. At least Acid and Rock Tomb are neutral here. So Clanging Scales does land, does an insane amount of damage. The defense does fall. They get to another move. If it's Clanging Scales again, it's... Well, I mean, if they have Brick Break, it's super effective and lowers your defense. But Clanging Scales is like a nuke. Going for the full farm, no, because that's your only option at this point. Scaldirge comes in, the Incinerate lands, and Rock Tomb is super effective, but they have one shield and another one will not take it out. So they're going to be able to just Incinerate you down. Yeah, I don't like how you played the front end of this matchup here. I think you almost like respect the Ice Beam and shield that and then be able to take that lead. Or if you're coming Bellibolt, coming in to just switch is kind of tough. So we had a bad lead there. What is this team? Bad lead followed by Volcanon. I have no idea what these moves are. Earth Power. That would hurt. Again, 6 versus 10 fast moves. You should be doing 8 versus 10. So your fast move needs a lot of work. Going to try and flip switch. Hoping just to outpace here to the next move. I have no idea. Florges comes in, so we are just going to chip it with Parabolic Charge, and then get into our Acid user. Again, we're not resisting the fairy, but we are chipping it with super effective Acid. Trailblaze lands, going for the Rock Tomb CMP, so probably just a Disarming Voice. Nope, another Trailblaze. Okay. So their attack is boosted by 2, but we'll just knock that down to 1 again and probably just take it out with Acid here. Or I already just take it out with Rock Tomb at that. So, again, out comes this Pokemon. Earth Power is neutral. Sludge Bomb, neutral. Not going to get to a move before you get Incinerated down. Again, don't love that. Incinerate is resisted on Dragon, so just come Dragon. And they give it up, switch into Greninja. And this is just basically a top left for them because Hydro Cannons are resisted and Night Slash is resisted. Because you are a fighter. Going for that Brick Break, which is super effective and lowers the defense. And you'll be able to just, top left, as they should. Okay, for Alligator, we've seen this before. They outpace you to the Ice Beam. Ice Beam will guaranteed one-shot here. They did not throw it before you get to the move. They could have, but they did not. So you may grab a shield here. And then come in Bellibolt. I kind of like this as long as you don't shield. Because Ice Beam is a potential one-shot to you. So basically just sacrificing this, which is fine. Out comes... No, you can't. You can't do this. You can't. Okay. Here, let me stop this. You cannot do this. I actually like getting out of the lead because it's one of those. It's like Ice Beam will pretty much from a Shadow Froggy will pretty much one shot KOMMO-O. Bellibolt and Cradily are both XLs and have maybe not Cradily with the 15, 15, 15, but you have XL Pokemon or bulky Pokemon at least in the back. When you give up Switch, you should almost, depending on what your Switch is, never shield. The only reason you shield if you're switching is if you really want to try and flip switch. So let's say you have a KOMMO-O on the lead and you have like let's say just a real poison in the back. Just poison, and you have like Drapion as a safe swap. And you're against like a fairy where KOMMO-O just gets like a charmer and KOMMO-O is just going to get deleted. So you safe swap Drapion, and then maybe their lead gets to this is a bad example, but let's say you are against Clefable and it gets to a Swift. Most of the time, I would say 9 times out of 10, I would say never shield that, because what happens if you shield that and then something like a Mudboy comes in or like a ground Pokemon comes in and just starts slapping you down and you're just going to lose Switch anyways. So there's no point of shielding if you're just going to lose Switch anyways. Again, if you need to fight for Switch, I would say sure. But there's no point of shielding if you're just going to like lose Switch anyways. So you came in, you took the Hydro Cannon. Fine, great. Just sacrifice Bellibolt. You've already grabbed one shield from them. Great. Out comes the Dragology. Now, Dragology is a dragon. Dragon resists electric, so your Bellibolt is essentially useless, right? Sucker Punch is neutral, but they are spamming. Aqua Tail was what they spammed. Is not a good move, but they're going to take this switch with ease because you let the Hydro Cannon go. So to shield up a move after giving up Switch and shielding up the Aqua Tail at that and not even the Hydro Cannon in a matchup where you can't even throw any of your charge moves makes absolutely zero sense. It makes zero sense. There's no reason to shield up the Aqua Tail here. You just sacrifice this and take the 2v1 shield advantage with your other 2 Pokemon. So we get to the Parry Ball Charge. Again, this is resisted. So there's not a ton you can do here. And going to commit the 2 shield. And the only other thing I'd ask is like, why are you doing this? So now you just get sniped. So you gave up. It's just a Hydro Cannon. Okay, that's fine. But I was worried that like you're also double weak to ice. So if you like gave up shields and the Feraligatr came in with Ice Beam, it can like almost one shot both your Pokemon with Ice Beam. But they actually let it go down, which is fine. And they have a Greninja in the back. So this will take out. If they go Hydro, it'll take out. Night Slash is still going to be borderline, but it is a Hydro to take out. I think they were hoping that your Bellibolt was going to be the toughest answer to this. But we do have a Grass Pokemon on the back. Do lower the attack here, knowing that they're going to have to shield. Okay, or they just lose. Dragology is not going to have enough. I know Acid is resisted, but even if you get to an Outrage, I don't think you have enough here. No, not even close. So now we're just committing to the Acid down. Even if it's an Aqua Tail, you'll live. Does the Greninja have any? If Greninja has energy, it's going to take you out, but you'll live this. If it doesn't, so we definitely denied them. Yeah, but if they have energy, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose CMP anyways. So they do win. I was actually surprised they would let that go. But anyways, I think you lost because of the mid game there. Good lead against Ninetales. Out to the Feraligatr. Gonna outpace. Going for break again. I would have. Okay, they do shield again. It's such a weird thing to come in if you're just going to lose anyways. So they're going to throw a Hydro, going to shield right back here. Are they already at 2 moves? Holy smokes. Yeah, I guess it took 15 to get to the... Yeah, but it only took 15. No, why are they so... Okay. So committed the 2 shield there? Yeah, no, 1 shield. Okay. Just committed 1 shield. That's fine. Ninetales is going to come in. You still have alignment on KOMMO-O, which will resist all the fire moves. Going to boost your defense again. So here comes Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands. Okay, Scorching Sands would be neutral, so you actually can take a neutral move from this. But get your dragon back on it. You know, there's the argument that if it's Scorching Sands, you should maybe shield this, but again, you don't know what's... Oh, it's Weather Ball. Okay. Who's counting? Once they dump the Weather Ball, I think I commit to the farm down there. But now they're just left with a Galysopod. I mean, all the moves are resisted, so I just let this go. Going for the bait. I think you just take this out, no? They do shield. It's going to work out in the ending. I think you just throw the Clanging Scales. And the reason that I would just throw the Clanging Scales is because Rock Tomb as a super effective move is going to one-shot anyways. So I don't see a point of like baiting there. Like just take it out with Clanging Scales. If they shield, then you just come and Rock Tomb it. As opposed to them like potentially letting that go. Okay, Bellibolt. This is... yeah, KOMMO is probably one of the best answers to Bellibolt. You resist the Sucker Punches. And you resist the... electric. I understand that Brick Break lowers the opponent's defense and it allows your Dragon Tail to like overpower there. Man, these guys are shielding a lot. But man, Clanging Scales just does so much damage. And Brick Break does like no damage. And I understand the secondary effects, but like they can let this go and live. With ease. And now they're going to get to another move. And now you have to potentially shield if you want to keep Switch. Or you're going to give up Switch. Yeah, I just don't see the point of baiting Brick Break as much as you do. You can probably just come and Sucker Punch down if you want. Or Acid down. You can do either or. Both are fine with energy, quite honestly. Both are good with energy advantage. And they have their own cradily in the back. So... gonna just lower their attack immediately with a shield advantage, probably in a pretty good spot. You could even honestly shield the first one. Yeah, I don't mind this, shielding the first one, because you're gonna outpace them to lower their attack again. So if you're gonna take a move from them, might as well make... go Grass Knot here. Grass Knot won't take out. I was gonna say, if you're gonna take a move, you might as well lower their attack times 2 first, because yeah, Grass Knot's gonna take out, so you could probably just go Rock Tomb the first. Like if you committed to the first Rock Tomb, and you're both not Shadow, I think you like just commit to the second Rock Tomb anyways. And now you're going Rock Tomb, wrong order. Go the Rock Tomb for the second move first, and then if you can ensure you want to take out, go Grass Knot for the last move. Could let this go, or you could shield and get the Rock Tomb off and like force a shield back, but just with Bellibolt, gonna just shield up the first move and just electric your way through this. Yeah. Skeldurge, again, nice that you resist the fire. So definitely can play in this matchup a bit. Out comes Golem. Okay, random Pokemon. Brick Break here is super effective. Do you grab a shield? Are we going to try and catch? No. I mean, Poison's resisted and Electric's resisted, so I get why you're just kind of staying in this matchup. They just Rock Blast. But if it's a Rock Electric Pokemon, they probably don't have any moves for you, because Rock is resisted on Fighting and Electric is resisted on Dragon, so I don't think you need to shield much. Anyway, Skeldurge comes back in. They're going to get to a move here. And going to commit the shield. I'm surprised you just don't align on Sucker Punch it down. And you're going to commit the shield just to throw a double resisted Brick Break. If they let this go, you're setting yourself up for fail. Okay, they do shield. Honestly, I feel like you're almost lucky that your opponents are shielding this much. You're really setting yourself up for lose cons, in my opinion, with all these Brick Breaks. If your opponent let that go and come out with a shield advantage here, they could like potentially burn your back line. But they did burn the shield. They're going to get farmed down at that. And it's another water Pokemon in the back. Like, why would you not save shields for Alligator there? Okay. Okay. So in the end, we'll take this matchup with ease. Still, I don't like it. But, I mean, everyone plays different. People like baiting. I just don't think that it's worth it in the majority of times, especially when Clang Skills is right there. Okay. Anyways, I appreciate the support. 2 minutes just to talk about being older in PvP and reaction time. I remember when I was in it was probably like mid to late 20s at this time, and I had already had 3 knee surgeries. And I was still playing softball, but that's basically the only sport I could play was just softball. And it was just a social softball club. And so I was on this like, was I playing pickup? I think I was playing pickup on the weekend with like, it was people ranging from like 20 to 60. And I was like, people were talking, like looking at my brace, and I was like, yeah, like frig, I wish I can go back to like my 20 or like early 20s body with good knees. And one of the 6-year-old guys comes by and he goes, you know, when I was in my 30s, I wish I had my body as when I was 20. When I was in my 40s, I wish I had my body when I was of my 30s. When I was in my 50s, like, it's just truly like every 10 years, the body just breaks down more and more and more. So someone who's now 38, is my reaction time slower? Maybe, like probably. In the end, is that going to cost me some GBL matchups? I don't think I play at a high enough level, like on the Play Pokemon Championship or anything, for that to matter. I don't think it's going to matter in your everyday battles. Yeah, but like it's two things, right? It's your body that goes, and it's also your brain that goes, right? So your reaction time, just when you're older, just gets slower. You can see it with like older people driving cars and stuff. Yeah, so there's the argument that in a game that takes seconds to make decisions, you potentially, like microseconds potentially to catch and time properly and do all this stuff, like reaction time probably does matter. Now, whether we need a senior league and a junior league, I understand there is like again, even in sports like golf, there was like the senior, like the pros, because it is different. Like your body's different. But that being said, I think the short of it is, we're talking about Pokemon Go Battle League, and it's a niche game. It's a niche, unpopular component of a 9-year-old mobile game that has like 5% of the player base that it used to have to start with. So in the end, they're not going to, I don't think there is enough players in the GBL player base to have different divisions, quite honestly. Like, yeah, there's just not enough players. You're already struggling to find players if you hit like certain ELO ranges. I can imagine if you like try to slice and dice to like 3 different ranges of players. Like, I don't think it's gonna work. But yeah, your body, you're mentally changed, you're physically changed. 100% agree with that. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for the submission. Thanks for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.